The San Juan Worm nymph is here to stay, and the best time of the year to use it is when the water is dirty and rough, or what you're using is just not working, and a change is what you need, and then the San Juan Worm really will shine for you.
Hey, Mike here from Northwest School of Fly Fishing, the old fish hobo, and it's about mid-September, and I'm up in the mountains of Idaho, and surprises to surprises, I got to the river I want to go to, and it's we had a lot of fires up here, and the water is dirty. I'm talking about spring dirty water. It's normally a crystal clear river, where the dry fly fishing is really good this time of year. It's now dirt. So I'm here. The wind's blowing pretty good. It's probably around 20 miles an hour. And I have the river here, and I got 3 or 4 hours that I'm going to spend on the river fishing. And I started out nymphing because of the wind, and it's tough. Feeling a little discouraged, so I changed flies and I put on a San Juan Worm. And you know, there's a lot of guys out there on the internet and in print that tell you the San Juan Worm's not a fly, you're fishing a worm, and all that garbage you hear on the internet, YouTube and whatnot. But I've never followed that stuff. It's a fly, it works well for me, and today in particular, when I'm in the really dirty water, I switched to that fly, and that fly right there, that San Juan Worm, was the ticket. Within my 4th cast, I was on to my first fish. And that can make the difference. When you have dirty water like that and the fish seem to be active. I mean, I was down here for about 20, 30 minutes, just nothing. So bing, the light bulb went off. Let me try this. I switched to a San Juan Worm, and lo and behold, there it is. I'm on my first fish. All it takes is a little change like that, and I always keep some San Juan Worms in my nymph box, both in red, purples, and browns. And when fishing's slow and I need something to go to change to, that's usually what I'll do. And I can take a day where I wasn't catching any fish to a day where I'm catching fish that I really would have been struggling to catch if I hadn't made that change. What I like about the San Juan Worm is that it flows very easily. It's probably the easiest fly that you can possibly tie anywhere, any fly. It takes you just a minute to tie one, and you can sit at the bench and tie quite a few. You can find them in most fly shops, and they work. So regardless of what people say in fly fishing, especially today when everybody has opinion on how you're doing it, and I don't do it that way, and I won't do this, and I won't do that. The San Juan Worm's been around for as long as I was a kid, and it's always worked, and it's something that I go to. It's something that you should think about too, and it can make that day. It can make you that day from struggling to catching fish. And a lot of it has to do with the trout's vision, how they see. Trout see in UV and polarized light, and if you go to any store anywhere, fly shops or box stores, you walk in the fishing department, you see all these colors. That's because trout see color differently than we do. And oftentimes, when fish aren't hungry, or in my case, it's really dark and dirty water, they may not be able to see that dark pheasant tail that I'm using. But put on a purple or a red or orange San Juan Worm or an egg ball, and it can make the difference. It's not so much that they're not hungry or not, it just has that spark of color. The colors that attract into fish. Just go to the sporting goods store and walk in the fishing department. You're going to see all colored lures, and they're that way for a reason. So trout will actually view color differently, and it goes from a feeding pattern into an aggressive strike, and it can make the day successful for you. So regardless if it's a San Juan worm or an egg ball or any kind of color, heck, there's purple and red, different pheasant tails and prince nymphs and copper johns. Switching to those can make your day that much successful. So next time you're on a river and fishing slow and you're nymphing, that should be your first go-to pattern. So hopefully I won't have to fish this kind of water again. I'll find another river to fish. But for you newcomers out there, hopefully that'll give you to thinking. For you guys out there who have been doing as long as I have, maybe you can get a nugget of this. In any case, I hope I see you on the river.